Hey guys, welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. It's Isabella, and today I'm going to be sharing 20 tips that you can use to start earning more as a Lyft driver. So before we get started, if you want to sign up to be a Lyft driver, we have a sign up link down below where you can get up to $1,000 guaranteed as a sign up bonus. So be sure to check that out if you would like to sign up to be a Lyft driver. Also, if your Lyft account or really any gig working account like Uber, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, Instacart, if any of those accounts get deactivated for you, we have a link in the description to this awesome website called the Reactivation Center, and you can look on the website for more information, but they actually help gig workers get their accounts reactivated if they were wrongfully deactivated. So if you need your account restored or you know someone that does, be sure to check that out. It's in the description. Anyways, let's get started on these 20 tips for Lyft drivers. Tip number 1 is that you want to make sure you have a phone mount and a phone charger. These are two necessities if you're going to be a Lyft driver. First of all, a phone mount will just help make it easier for you to look at the directions without kind of being distracted, like holding your phone in your hand while you're driving. And it just makes it a lot easier to navigate your phone and the Lyft app while you're driving. And having a charger is obviously important because if your phone dies while you're on the job, you really need your phone to be able to be a Lyft driver. So if you have a charger handy in your car at all times, then you'll never have to worry about that. Tip number 2 is to keep your car in good condition. This is so important. If you're going to be having passengers in your car, you want to make sure it's super clean inside. You don't want there to be trash around or a bunch of crumbs. Make sure to remember to vacuum the floor. There's a lot of times Lyft drivers will keep everything clean except for the ground, and the ground is really gross. So make sure that it's just always looking good. The outside of the car isn't quite as important as the inside. Like if the weather is bad and it's raining or snowing, I understand why you'd have a dirty car, but also just try to keep the outside of your car clean too. Tip number 3 is to invest in a dash cam. So they have dash cams that can face the inside of your car and the outside of your car. That's important for if you get into an accident and it's not your fault, then you have video evidence that, maybe the person hit you and it's 100% their fault, and then insurance can help you out and all that. And then also to have a camera facing the inside is just to ensure everyone's safety. It's kind of like a security camera. Also, if someone decides to complain about you, then you also have video evidence showing that you didn't do anything wrong. It's always good to just have a dash cam, definitely worth investing in. Tip number 4 is to look into rideshare insurance. So they have some policies that can help out rideshare drivers like Lyft drivers that may be different from the insurance that you already have. So it's always good to look into rideshare insurance just in case, because you want to be extra safe. So tip number 5 is to keep track of your expenses. Anything you buy for being a Lyft driver, you can write that down when you're filing your taxes to get tax returns. So like what I was saying about the phone mount or the dash cam, those could potentially be written off. And it's always good to just keep a list of everything and how much they cost. When the time comes for when you have to file your taxes, it just makes it way easier because you are already organized. My next tip is to avoid driving aimlessly. If you're waiting for a new ride to show up on your Lyft app, you don't want to be driving around waiting for the next ride to come up. It's better to just stay in place if you're gonna wait, because then you're not possibly missing passengers and new rides that are coming up just by staying in one place, and you're not wasting your gas. Gas is so expensive right now, so there's really no point in to just be driving around. Another tip is that you want to get familiar with your area. This might just make it easier to be able to find your passengers to pick them up if you know the area really well, or if you kind of know when the traffic is going to be worse, or which ways are faster to get to different places, because sometimes the GPS isn't always reliable. It just helps to be really familiar with your area, and that way you can be a better Lyft driver. My next tip is to take advantage of your referral bonuses. If you know someone that wants to become a Lyft driver as well, or someone that's looking for a little side hustle, then you can have them use your referral bonus, so you can just make a little bit of extra money that way. Another tip that may seem kind of weird because it's not something you'd think about, but is actually really important, is to know where your bathrooms are. if you're planning to be out the entire day Lyft driving, you're definitely gonna need to use the bathroom. So you don't wanna be caught in a situation where you don't really know where the bathrooms are and you're kind of like driving around looking to find one. So there's a few places that will have public bathrooms like McDonald's, Starbucks, some gas stations. So if you kind of know where they are, then you're not wasting a lot of time like trying to find one. And again, if you're gonna be out the entire day in your car doing Lyft driving, make sure you keep water bottles in your car and maybe some snacks, so that if you ever get thirsty, you already have the water in your car. You don't have to like get out or like go through a drive-through to find water and snacks. And then again, you're not wasting time, you're not wasting gas, and you're not wasting money. So always good to have that handy in your car for whenever you need it between rides or just like anytime you get hungry. But don't eat while you have a passenger in the car. That's definitely not something you want to do. Another good tip is to find a community of other drivers that you can like get to know or meet online, because you can get a lot of really good tips from them, especially the ones that are more experienced. And it's also a good place to just vent if you had some crazy passenger stories. So I know they have a lot of awesome groups on Facebook that you can join with a bunch of other Lyft drivers or like just rideshare drivers in general, so be sure to check those out. Another tip is to be wary of the music that you're playing. It's always good to just ask the passenger as soon as they get in the car if they like to listen to music or not, or if they want to play their own music. You just don't want to be like blasting your music super loud, and you want to make sure it's music that's like very easy to listen to. And then my next tip is that, let's say they don't just want to listen to music and they want like they're more conversational, you want to stick to pretty safe conversation topics, because if you're asking like really nosy and invasive questions, that can make your passenger feel really uncomfortable. And it's always just good to be mindful of like the type of conversation you're having. You don't want it to become like really inappropriate, because you might get reported for that. So if you do have a chatty passenger, then just try to make like good flowing conversation, sticking to relatively like safer topics. Another tip, this is so important, but if you're like picking someone up who has a bunch of groceries or they have a suitcase because they're going to or from the airport, it's always good to give them a hand. You might get an extra tip for that, and it's honestly just like the nice, courteous thing to do. So it really isn't much effort to take the extra step to get out of your car, open the trunk, and like help them with whatever they need help with. Tip number 15 is to keep an eye on the Lyft Rider app. So if you look at the Lyft app as you would if you were gonna be a passenger, you can kind of see like where a bunch of Lyft drivers are, and you can avoid those areas and go to an area that has like less Lyft drivers, because there's more of a chance of you getting a ride. There's just gonna be less competition, so it's always good to check that out. Tip number 16 is to keep an eye out for special events. If you know there's gonna be like a huge sports game or a concert that day, then that's probably a good day for you to be driving, because chances are these people are gonna need a lift. So it's always good to just be aware of these events that are going on, so you can start driving around wherever the event is being held, and you can start getting rides that way. Tip number 17 is to be smart about the surge pricing. You don't really want to chase the surge. Like if you're in one area that's not like super popular right now, and you try to drive like across town to where there's going to be surge pricing, you're really just going to be wasting your time. But if you already end up in a place where there's already surge pricing, you might as well stay and take advantage of the surge, because chances are if you're going to the area that has surge pricing at that specific time, a lot of people are going to be doing the same thing, and the area is going to be flooded, and then it's going to be harder for you to get a ride at that time. My next tip is to go where the alcohol is. This is also really important because, of course, like anyone that's been drinking needs a safe way to get home. They're most definitely going to be ordering a Lyft to be able to get home or to their next destination. So if you're out on a weekend driving at nighttime, you should try to drive around where there's like bars or clubs or parties, because you will most definitely get someone that'll need a ride around. However, the problem with this, which comes to my next tip, is to be prepared for cleanup, because there are a lot of times where someone will be way too drunk getting into your car and they throw up. So if you already have cleaning supplies ready in your car for whenever there's some type of accident, or even if someone spills food or like a drink inside of your car, then you're already ready to get it cleaned up, and you don't have to worry about it like sitting in your car or going out to find a place to get cleaning supplies. Just keep like some wipes, maybe some napkins in your car and like plastic bags, and you'll be set. This is my last and final tip, and it is to make sure you get your rest. It's very easy to just stay out driving all day, like if you're having a really good day doing Lyft and you don't want to stop, but you're really tired. It's the safer thing to do to just either take a long break and get back to it, or just be done for the day and start again tomorrow. You don't want to put your passenger at risk for their safety, so be sure to get the rest that you need. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Also, once again, if you would like to sign up to be a Lyft driver, we have a sign up link in the description where there's a sign up bonus guaranteed up to $1,000. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.